Hi bitches, what's good? I'm back with another video, and today's video is gonna be a fucking crazy one. Today's video is gonna be a doozy because we are in fact talking about Kiwi farms. If you don't know what Kiwi farms, it is a internet forum. It is a forum board site, kind of like 4chan. Really weird, really like super like deep into the internet type of fucking people on here. So right here, what we got, it says Kiwi farms, formerly known as Quickie forums. I think that's some shit. It has to do with Christine Weston Chandler, who's a fucking trans woman who made a fucking comic book about it's like a Pikachu Sonic. It's really fucking weird, but it's also some interesting stuff. There's like a docu-series that's like fucking like 60 parts long. I've watched some episodes of it. It is actually really crazy, but it's also really fucked up. But anyways, moving on, is an American internet forum dedicated to the discussion of online figures and communities. It deems locals, which is basically like a person that can be milked for laughter, like LOL Cal, you know what I mean? It makes sense. The targets of threads are often subject to doxing and other forms of organized group trolling, such as ongoing harassment, stalking, including real-life harassment by users. Now, I've definitely heard this. I've had people tell me that they dox and stalk and will harass these users in real life, that they have, in fact, driven trans women to commit fucking suicide, and that they have harmed trans women in real life. According to the site's rules, like, that's not supposed to be a thing, so it's probably just like individual group members acting on their own. But I mean, honestly, if they were gonna be doing some shit like this, they're gonna put in the rules not to, so it doesn't really mean a whole lot. But I did actually infiltrate their site, and I was posting, talking to some people. I ended up getting fucking banned, which is crazy, but they basically told me that I got banned because, like, I'm not fucking, like, I'm too normal, basically. Like, I'm not fucking weird. And, like, yeah, because there's, like, some fucking people on there that, like, are trans that are allowed to be on there because they're batshit crazy. Like, one of the persons that has, like, their own, like, thread is named, like, Tommy or some shit. Like, some crazy fucking pedo. Like, I don't know. They seem really unhinged. But yeah, they're allowed to be on there because they're a locale or whatever the fuck. But, like, I'm too normal, and, like, people, like, honestly, despite me being fucking trans and shit, people are low-key fucking with me because, like, I'm, like, charismatic and shit. So yeah, so I did get banned, but from talking to people, definitely, like, some people, like, it's just fun for them. Like, they're not have any, like, bad intentions. They don't want to, like, physically harm no one. They don't want to harass nobody in real life, and they actually, like, call people out that do that shit. But definitely probably some people do. I will say that the site is not only about trans people, it's anyone that they deem a locale, anyone they did deem fucking weird and has, like, eccentric ass behavior that can be funny as fuck to them. But I actually, when I went on there and I made my whole, like, profile and shit, I was asking some people if they wanted to help me make this video. Like, I have some questions about why the fuck are y'all so obsessed with trans people? Because that's the thing, is that it's not only trans people, but it's a lot of trans people. And now people will say that that's because trans people tend to fucking act more crazy, more weird or whatever. But I've noticed this with, like, a lot of groups, like how TERFs, they'll be super fucking obsessed with trans people as well. Anyways, I talked to this one person, and he actually gave me a little bit backstory on how the site was created. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this up on the screen and read it. Here, I'll give you a quick rundown. The site was originally made for Kristen Weston Chandler, which in the last 5 or so years has been pruning out. The site used to have a very sizable lefty population, but some were anti-trans but weren't. Really, the most important stuff was there were several threads made on trans grifters, and it got a reputation by big-time activists and whatever as a transphobic site. This, of course, led to an uptick of actual transphobic people. There were also many waves of right-wing politics, mostly due to Null's political views. In 2019, there also was a big leak of emails and IPs that led to many old members leaving the forum. So that's where we are today. If you look hard enough, you can find old stuff where the majority of people in a thread are pro-trans individuals. Also, quite a few older moderators and admins were trans. Go on Onion Farms and check the KF moderator thread. So I was actually gonna go on Onion Farms and like look at all this stuff and see like what the fucking deal was, but I didn't do that. So, you know, I feel like I have enough here. I'm actually really surprised and impressed that this started with a bunch of lefties and there was actually pro-trans individuals. Now, we definitely know that Republicans, fucking conservatives, are a virus, and they have nothing better to do because they have sad, pathetic lives. They are sad, pathetic people, you know, and they're low IQ. So what they do is they'll fucking, like, anything that's, like, slightly seen as anti-trans, they'll fucking flock to that shit, and they'll make that shit, like, a fucking whole-ass, like, Nazi, like, fucking party. Like, it's really crazy. So, yeah, I just thought that was really cool. So the main place on Kiwi Farms where they talk about trans people is under a tab that says Community Watch. Now under this, there's many different communities that it's literally what it says. They watch these communities, fucking stalk them, and then like talk shit about like members from these communities or just happenings that's going on with certain communities. And as you can see, the one which is the Transgender Community Watch is literally like the biggest, most popular one. You can see the numbers on the far right, which is insane. Beyond this, there's individual trans people that they deem worthy enough to actually have their own thread. Some that we know, Blair White, Jessica Unive, they'll put their dead name and other shit. It says fucking Faggotron. It says fucking Faggotron where fucking Blair White shit is. That shit had me laughing, I'm not gonna lie. Like this bitch, some fucking like LGBT Decepticon or some shit. Yeah, that shit funny. And then here, I'll just show like a bunch more. I don't know who the fuck these people are. These are like the really crazy people. These aren't the people that have like any sort of notoriety. Like if you have notoriety, they'll 100% talk about you. If you're trans, they'll fucking talk about you. Like they talk about Blair all the time. It's insane. But yeah, so fucking look at all these. All of these are singular trans people, and what they do in here, I'm not gonna post it. You can go see what the fuck it is for yourself, but they will just like break down this person's whole ass backstory, where they fucking live, where they work, what kind of fucking cookies they like to eat, their favorite ice cream, their favorite book, their favorite movie, you know what I mean? Like really weird shit. And then beyond that, they'll fucking dox them. They'll put their like address and everything. It's really crazy. They just obsess over these people and like talk about them like it's a thread for one person. Y'all know their whole life story. That's insane. So in the process of me interacting with people on this forum and talking to them, trying to understand the obsession with trans people, they actually started to target me. Like not to the same degree as these other people, but they digged up some shit about me, some shit about my videos. They found all the shit about the label, the distribution label that I was signed to. I'm unfortunately not signed to that anymore. They did in fact shut down because of the pandemic, but yeah, they found a lot of shit. And yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and just like post some shit on the screen as you've seen, but I'm not gonna fucking like read it all out and shit. Now this whole situation is something that really interests me. Like it's really interesting to me seeing people do this and discuss trans people in such detail. Like you could spend your life doing anything. There's so many things in this world, but you choose to sit and be on a computer and talk about a tranny. I mean, I don't really get it. Like it's entertaining to a lot of these people. Like what my general like understanding from interacting with these people and being on here is that most people, it's just fucking jokes, and this is how they get their rocks off. A lot of people have actually had negative experiences with trans people. They have known people that are trans that have like hurt them, that have like stopped being friends with them because of one reason or another. And so like there's a lot of that there, and that's why these people are on there just hating on trans people. It's like honestly, people don't work for their issues. It's easier to just like fucking like do this than like look at yourself and realize, hey, why do I hate this person or whatever? And the thing is that always like amazed me, even with like actual trans people, is that whenever a trans person is weird, it seems to be like a bigger issue. Like trans people are constantly like trans medicalists mainly will constantly talk about like, oh, like trenders and like, oh, these trans people are so fucking weird and crazy, that's why the Republicans hate us. And like, you know what I mean? And TERFs, they'll especially like they'll obsess over weird trans people. For some reason there are a lot of like autistic trans people, so that's another thing. They'll fucking call them autistic and talk about that. But it's interesting to me because, you know, there's weird people that are cis too, right? Like that's the thing. It's like, man, like it's like different when it's trans. I guess it's because like a lot of people don't really understand. So like they don't really understand like what it means to be trans, why people are trans, and that's a valid thing. That's a scientifically and medically like proven thing. And that, like, fucking, if those institutions support this, if academia supports this, I don't, like, you don't know anything. You can't say like, oh, these people are crazy and this and that, when science is literally saying, hey, like, this is a thing and these people exist. So yeah, I just thought this was hella interesting. I might do like some deep dives into the people that they've made whole ass threads on, but I don't know at the moment. Let me know what you think about this shit. I think these people are fucking crazy. I think they're just as fucking weird as the people they talk about. Anyways, peace out, bitches. Have a good one.